Scandinavian Bob from Natural Health Evolution coming at you today with a few words on depression, should you be going through a bit of a rough time right now. I'm quite familiar with the mental anguish of depression, having visited its most darkest places as well as seen the lighter versions of it during my years, and I know exactly how hopeless one can feel, lying there at the bottom of the deep and dark pit of despair. In order to deal with depression, we have to be able to handle one of life's paradoxes, and during this video you will understand what I mean by that. The first thing we should do when feeling really down is stop resisting the depression. What I mean by this is that it's very common to start thinking things like, why am I so depressed? Or, oh no, I must not be depressed because depression is a bad thing, you know. It's so bad, and all these kinds of thoughts are running through our mind about how and why we are depressed, and that we should not be depressed, and how sick we are, and how catastrophical the very fact that we are depressed is. I'm exaggerating a bit now, but it's hard to put into words since the thoughts we have in our heads are not always exact words. They're more like a combination of emotions and visualizations and words, but I think you get the picture. The point being, we resist and do not accept the depression. Well, when we do this, it makes it all much worse in several ways. You see, the mind works in a funny way. No matter what emotions we have, if we try to push it away, it only gets stronger. And think of the emotion like an irritating neighbor knocking at your door, wanting to criticize you for playing your stereo too loud or whatever. Well, if you open the door and try to push him away, you try to push your neighbor away and then you close the door again after. He's now gonna be even more angry and knock on your door 3 times more loudly and really wanting to give you hell. Well, the same goes for our emotions. If you push them away, they get 3 times stronger. If you, on the other hand, open the door for your neighbor, taking about 2 minutes to listen to his critique, nodding in agreement, saying, yeah, I understand. And then you close the door, he will most likely calm down and probably go away. So that is the first thing we need to do with the depression as well. It's knocking at your door right now. Open the door just for a couple of minutes and listen to it, saying to yourself, I'm feeling really down right now, and you know what, that's okay. It's okay to be depressed sometimes, nothing wrong with that. I'm depressed and that's okay. Now this can be a bit of a challenge, because of course no one wants to feel bad, and this is the paradox I was talking about in the beginning. The paradox being, in order not to feel bad, we have to be okay with feeling bad. Okay, so with all that said, here comes some practical tips you can do right away. I hate to tell you this, but the things that help the most are the things that are the most difficult to do. There is a big difference, however, between something that is difficult and something that is impossible. But by drawing on all your reserves, you should have enough to go outside and take a walk. Getting over that first hurdle, to find the right clothes, put them on, go outside and start walking, is the hardest part. But when you're actually walking, you'll find it's pretty easy to keep going, so don't stop before you have walked for at least 45 minutes. Walk fast and be sure to move your arms as well. Do this every day, and even if you hate it. We all know that exercise is good, especially if we are depressed, but there is more to this tip than that. By walking, you increase the serotonin and dopamine in your brain, which help you elevate your mood. But also, by walking every day, you are building a routine, and routines are something that a depressed brain needs more than anything. Also, when the body moves, so does the mind, and so does that inner world. When you are walking, you are organizing your mind, whether you want to be or not. When you get home from the walk, then make yourself a cup of green tea. A study published by Public Health Nutrition showed that people who drank about 4 cups of green tea per day were half as likely to feel depressed than the people who didn't drink any green tea at all. The study found that the more green tea a person drank, the less depressed they felt. It is believed that the amino acid L-theanine in green tea is the reason for its benefits for depression. L-theanine also reduces stress and calms the mind, so it's a great thing. Most green teas will do perfectly fine, so just throw some in your shopping cart the next time you're out shopping. If, however, you want to go for the big guns, then choose matcha green tea, because matcha has 4 times the amount of L-theanine in it. I can put a link in the description box to some good brand for you under this video. So then when you're sitting there at your kitchen table, drinking your green tea, consider reaching out to someone, a close friend, a childhood friend, or perhaps just someone on an internet forum. Humans are wired to connect. The need for social connection is so fundamental that without it we fall apart. So even if you don't feel like it, try to reach out and just talk for a while with someone. You don't have to talk about depression, just talk about anything. As an extra bonus, if you find the energy, see if you can help someone. This is another one of life's paradoxes, because by helping others, we are not only helping them, we are actually helping ourselves feel better. And yes, there are studies done on that one also, so reach out. Even small steps like smiling at strangers can make a huge difference, so do not underestimate this tip. The things I have been talking about today are things that do not take a whole lot of effort, and that's the reason I chose these tips. They are, however, surprisingly effective, so if you do them every day, I promise you will start feeling better. I want to close this video by having you imagine an oyster opening, and in it you see this beautiful, perfectly round and shiny pearl. A pearl is a beautiful thing that is produced by an injured life. A small object, such as a grain of sand, accidentally gets trapped inside the oyster's soft inner body. To ease this pain, the oyster's body takes action and the oyster begins to secrete a smooth, crystalline substance around the grain of sand, and with time a pearl is formed. It is the wound of the oyster that produces that beautiful pearl. Now you may not see it right now, but just as with the wounded oyster, your wounds will someday present you with an equally beautiful pearl, in some way, shape or form.